Hi, my name is Brad Love, and this is my speech on crime prevention tips. It will never happen to me. This is unfortunately the mindset of many people when it comes to the possibility of being a victim of crime. According to the FBI Uniform Crime Reporting Statistics, in 2018 there were a total of 212 violent crimes reported in Wichita Falls alone. Of the 212 violent crimes reported, there were 4 murders, 58 sexual assaults, 67 robberies, and 83 aggravated assaults. There were also 1,523 property crimes reported in 2018 to include 304 burglaries, 1,120 thefts, and 99 stolen vehicles. If you've ever been the victim of crime, especially a violent personal crime, you know the potential financial, physical, and emotional toll that such events can take on a person. Not only is there a personal cost to individual victims of crime, but there are also collective costs shared by the entire community that can be measured in terms of decreased property values, higher taxes, and a diminished overall quality of life. As a police officer of over 30 years, I've witnessed firsthand the consequences of crime to both individuals and the community as a whole. I've witnessed the unimaginable pain caused to the loved ones of murder victims, the loss of dignity, security, and trust experienced by victims of sexual assault, and the financial as well as physical loss caused by assaults, robberies, burglaries, and thefts. During this presentation, I intend to discuss some very basic things that you can do to minimize your likelihood of becoming a victim of crime. I will be discussing basic crime prevention measures that you can take to ensure your personal safety and identity as well as your property from criminal activity. There are many potential aspects of crime prevention that we could discuss, but given the time constraints that we have today, I hope to address 3 major areas where taking basic precautions can greatly increase your safety and lessen your chances of being victimized. First, we will address some basic personal safety measures that you can practice to avoid becoming the victim of a violent physical assault. Next, we'll address some basic home security tips aimed at protecting your property from burglary and theft. And finally, I will briefly discuss some issues concerning identity theft. To begin with, let's look at some personal safety techniques that can help to protect you against physical assaults. Physical attacks resulting in serious bodily injury or death may come in many forms, whether they be robbery or mugging attempts, carjackings, or even sexual assault attempts. There are a number of ways in which you can increase your safety and diminish your appeal as a potential target. The most important thing that you can do is to stay alert. One of the easiest ways to become a victim is through inattention to your surroundings. When out walking, especially if alone, avoid distractions like cell phones and earbuds. If you're texting or scrolling through a social media app, your likelihood of observing suspicious activity around you is greatly reduced. Also, if you're using earbuds to listen to music, keep the volume low enough so that you can hear ambient noises around you, or try using only one earbud at a time. Also, avoid low light areas or secluded routes. If out walking or jogging during the hours of darkness, try to choose well-lit routes in areas where there are other people around. Avoid shortcuts that would take you off the beaten path, and whenever possible, avoid walking or jogging alone. Remember the old saying about safety in numbers. Also know all of your options for a getaway. In a 1995 article entitled Parking Lot Prowess, author Maggie Spillner asks the question, if someone were to chase you, where would you run? Spillner states that you should know which routes lead to dead ends or dark alleys, and find out if the door that you leave work by locks automatically behind you. Know where to run to find other people. Last but certainly not least, always fight. Never voluntarily go with anyone, no matter how they threaten you. If someone attempts to abduct you, use whatever means are at your disposal to resist. Scream, punch, kick, scratch, bite, stab, or shoot. Whatever you do, don't comply with an abductor's demands, hoping that they will not harm you if you cooperate. If someone is attempting to abduct you, they intend to do you harm or to kill you. Often, an abductor is counting on the victim to be so paralyzed with fear that they will offer no resistance. The more you resist and the louder you are, the better your chances of survival and potential rescue by others whose attention may be gained by your resistance. Now let's discuss some home security issues. As you will recall from my introduction, there were a total of 304 burglaries reported in Wichita Falls in 2018. The majority of those 304 burglaries were at people's homes. In a 1992 article written for U.S. News and World Reports, author Vic Sussman encourages homeowners to keep a lived-in look. As noted in Sussman's article, burglars hate confrontation. Sussman goes on to assert that an occupied home, or to be more realistic, one that looks occupied more of the time, constitutes the first line of defense. Many homeowners make the mistake of turning all the lights out when they leave for the day or when they leave for vacation. Burglars know to look for residences that appear to be unoccupied. Simply leaving a few lights on or leaving a radio or television on inside the residence can give the impression that it is occupied. Another important thing to remember is that if you plan on being away from your home for an extended period of time, have someone pick up your mail and newspaper or temporarily suspend their delivery at the post office so that they don't pile up in your mailbox or front porch. Accumulated mail and newspapers are sure signs to would-be burglars that no one is at home. The physical security of your home is also extremely important. Deadbolt locks on doors, auxiliary locking devices on windows, and adequate exterior lighting will all make it much more difficult for a burglar to gain entry into your home. Surprisingly, many homeowners become so complacent that they fail to lock their doors and windows, or they may even leave the garage doors open at night. Most burglars are opportunistic in their crimes. If your home is difficult to get into, most burglars will move on to a home where they believe they will have an easier time of gaining entry. An article entitled "Going Away, Keep Burglars at Bay" of the June 2013 edition of Consumer Reports, it suggested that shrubbery around a residence should be no higher than 3 feet from the ground, and tree branches should be at least 6 feet off of the ground to make it more difficult for burglars to conceal themselves while attempting to gain entry into your home. In addition to physical security concerns, the homeowner should consider investing in an alarm system. Modern alarm systems are becoming more affordable, and many of them also include surveillance camera systems which can be monitored not only from inside the residence but also via apps on smartphones. Signage and decals placed around the residence that advertise the fact that an alarm and or video surveillance system is in use may also act as a deterrent to criminals. Another tip from Vic Sussman in his U.S. News and World Reports article suggests that homeowners might do well to have a dog. Sussman writes that dogs are right up there with security systems. He also wrote that noisiness counts more than ferocity, also noting that many breeds, including mutts, can be trained to bark at strange noises. Another and very important area that deserves your serious consideration is that of identity theft. As you probably are aware, identity theft is one of the most rapidly growing crime trends that we need to be concerned about. The compromising of your personal information can have catastrophic results. Not only can you be out multiple thousands of dollars due to identity theft, you'll probably spend years trying to reestablish your good name and regain the sense of security that you once had. Always remember that when disposing of old mail, bills, receipts, and any financial paperwork, that you don't throw them in the trash to be hauled away by the sanitation department. Many criminals will dig through trash dumpsters searching for paperwork with your identifying information. Your name, address, phone numbers, date of birth, social security number, bank and credit card account numbers, and no doubt many other items of information unique to you and your loved ones can all be gleaned from discarded mail and paperwork. Any paperwork that could potentially reveal your personal information should be thoroughly shredded prior to being discarded. Another area of concern is your online activity. Computers are no longer a mere luxury for most people. It's almost impossible these days to conduct any type of business without the use of a home computer or laptop. Even smartphones, which are nothing more than a smaller version of your home computer, have the potential to be hacked into by criminals seeking to exploit your personal information. Careful attention to passwords, virus protection software, and email security awareness are all necessary to ensure that your information stays private. You should also be very careful about the types of information you share on social media platforms. The last thing you want to do is announce to the world that you're miles away from home on vacation, or that you've just purchased the mother of all big screen televisions. This type of information can obviously make you and your home an appealing target for criminals. The concept of crime prevention is nothing new. Even in the Bible, in the book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 23, it states, "But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at what time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have let his home be broken into." While this verse obviously has a deeper meaning, it does demonstrate that alertness and vigilance are necessary to secure our safety and security. The tips that I've discussed in this presentation are just a small selection of basic steps that you can take to help enhance your personal safety and the safety of your home. Hopefully, by implementing some of these simple tips, you can avoid the possibility of one day saying, "I can't believe it happened to me." Thank you.